Hello, Five Finance family. Welcome to this edition of Flip It with Samara, the power of tax planning. On tonight, we have a special guest. I know I was solo last week, and I know you all love hearing my lovely voice, but I have a little help tonight. Someone by the name of Tammy is going to be sharing with us how to strategically plan for your business so that you can leave a legacy, right? But before we get into that, let me officially welcome you all. So if you are in the chat, please make sure that you make yourself known. Give us a hand wave, a thumbs up. Let me know that you can hear me loud and clear. So let's see some mics in that chat too, so that I know that I am being heard loud and clear, right? And again, thank you for joining us as always. I know that we all have hectic and busy schedules. I'm always appreciative of you taking time out to join the live, right? So before we get any further into what tonight's topic is going to be about, because we are still sticking with the theme of legacy building. So we're going to tie in how, structuring and building our business up the right way can create a legacy, not only for us, but also for our family, also for our community, and also for our clients. And Tammy is going to be our in-house expert who's going to guide us through exactly what that looks like and how she helps people do just that every single day, right? So, welcome. I am the CEO of Five Finance, and I am going to be your host for tonight for those joining for the first time. Here, we've created a safe space for you, right? So, we welcome your comments. We want you to be engaged. We want you to ask questions throughout the live, and we will definitely address them as the live progresses, okay? So, make sure that you are being active and interactive, all right? And remember, we stand by the notion that the wealthy don't start tax planning once they become wealthy, but rather use tax planning as a tool to grow their wealth. So that's why we come before you every week. We want to give you strategies and tips on how you can strategically do the same thing that the wealthy are doing, right? So without further ado, we are going to welcome to the stage Tammy. Hello, Tammy.
Hello, Samara.
How are you doing this evening?
I am doing awesome. I'm so happy to be here talking with you and your audience. This is great.
Yeah, it's going to be a very lively show. So, if you can, please introduce yourself to the Five Finance family.
So, I'm Tammy Johnston, and my business is KSA Business, and I am known as the hold your hand and kick your ass business coach. And my clients are actually the ones that named me. I've been working with small businesses for over 20 years, but I specialize in working with solopreneurs as early in their journey as possible, like idea stage, up to 2 years, because that's where I can have the most positive impact. I am on a mission to fix the drastic and unnecessary failure rate of new businesses in
Mm,
the first 2 years. And I do that by teaching them the basic foundational pieces they need to first survive
hmm.
and then thrive. Because if you don't survive, nothing else matters.
Right. So, when you're meeting with that client and you just told us, who you like to work with, what I didn't hear was any like age demographics or so I love that. Like, I love that you're just open to work with who wants to work with you as long as they meet that criteria of being in that startup phase. Yes?
Well, it's not even the startup phase. I've worked with people from idea stage everywhere up to I've been successful in business for 35 plus years and everywhere in between. But I like working with the newer businesses because, like I said, that's where all the building and stuff. That's where most of the failure rate and that is. But my criteria are the people that are wanting to do the work, not
Mm,
expecting just to wave this magic wand and everything just wonderfully appears for them, or the ones that are looking to, well, you just look after everything and I'll just make all the money. That doesn't happen either. I work with what I call the 5%ers, the ones that are willing to do the work and willing to do the learning. Those are the ones that
oh,
succeed. And I worked with tradespeople, professional, like pretty much everything. And one of the things, it keeps it a lot more interesting. Plus, I get to learn so many different things like, oh, okay, well, this works in your tent business. Well, how can I take that over and how can that help out my massage therapist client or my brewery client or whatever? So you get to all these different ideas and experiences And then how do you take that and help other people rather than, okay, no, I know everything about this very, very tiny little industry.
Right. And I take a very similar approach too. And there's nothing wrong with niching down. Like I know
Yeah.
people that are very specific and they niche down and say, hey, I only work with X, Y, and Z. And that's okay.
Yep.
That's needed in some areas, right? But
Mhm.
I take the same approach as you because of the knowledge that I gained in corporate America. I know that this can be applied to whatever business, whether it's service based or you're building a
Yep.
product, whether you're a speaker, right? Like I
Mhm.
know that this can be applied to you. It's the same basic principles that I
Business is
stand on.
business is business.
Exactly, exactly. So I take that same approach. Like I'm like, okay, I'm willing to help whoever wants to be helped.
And like you said, with the niching, it's very important. And there's certain things like there's people that, okay, I like I said, I'm a really good generalist. I'm like an awesome family doctor. I am not an ologist.
Right,
And when you get to a certain point in different things, yes, you need to do get with the ologist. Like I talk about accounting and bookkeeping and stuff, but I'm not an accountant or a bookkeeper.
right,
I'll send you off to find the right people to be doing that.
right.
But you need to have people that have a good, strong foundation of how business works because the basics of business, the 8 pillars are the same, doesn't matter product, service, or industry. They're the same,
Mhm.
period.
That's right. That's right. And I love that. Like you're giving, so before I make any assumptions, I want you to talk about it a little more. So when you are meeting with a client for the first time, right? What does that conversation look like in order to see if that client is going to be a good fit for you?
Well, the first thing when I'm talking about them is what are they looking for?
Okay.
Like I said, if they're wanting to look at long term, if
Mm-hmm.
they're willing to like learn, if they're asking good questions, if they're willing to put in the work, then we're probably going to be a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
If they're looking for this, well, what I see all over social media is okay, you take my Facebook ads course or my Instagram ads course and you pay me thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and then this is going to blow up your business, and that's the only thing you need. And they're looking for that type of stuff. We are not going to be a fit. And I actually end up working with a lot of people that bought into that stuff. And they're
Wow.
going, yeah, I paid 10,000, I paid $20,000 for this course to learn how to do Facebook ads or whatever. And I got the people in, but now I don't know how to like I can't keep them. I'm not converting them. I'm not doing any of this stuff. Or they have other issues, and I'm going, yes, because you went to Usain Bolt's running coach when you're like elementary grade track meet level.
Right.
Not that there was anything wrong with the course, but I'm going, you weren't ready for it.
Right.
You didn't have
Right.
your foundation put together. Like you're building. I always say you go to any city and you find like downtown where they're building a skyscraper. Can you what do you need to know to tell how tall that building's going to be? Well, how big is the hole? How deep and strong is the foundation? And that's the part that takes forever. It could take them 3 years to look after properly building the foundation, and then once that's done, then the building goes up. But there's
Mhm.
so many people they want the skyscraper, but they're going, well, I don't want the foundation.
Wow. And that does matter. Like the foundation, if it's crap, then you're absolutely gonna fail. And I think that that's the reason why we have such a high failure rate in the first 2 years of a business inception because you don't have a solid foundation. So I love that you are asking those questions, right? So that you can kind of get an understanding of what do they need from me, and
Yeah.
then it's very important that you communicate to them what's expected of you. Because you
Oh
def
yes.
right? Because you don't want anybody, wasting their time or your time. Like, let's be honest. And so there's going to have to be a certain level of buy-in from the client in order for it to be successful. The one thing that I always tell my client is like, we are partners, right?
Mhm.
So just as much effort as I put into making sure that your books are where they're supposed to be from an accounting perspective, to making sure that you are, maximizing all of your tax strategies, like I need that same effort from you. So, hey, if I ask for different things, I just need you to be responsive. So it's definitely a partnership. Like that's how I look at it. And it sounds like you have a similar approach. Like you're in this partnership with them because you want to see their success. Yes?
Well, I definitely want to see them succeed. I get very invested in my clients. And like you said, I am on a mission to fix things. So
Right.
but I always tell my clients, going, the only person who truly, really, when it comes down to it, gives a rat's ass about you getting paid is you. And if you're not going to put in the time and effort, like I said, I'm here to help you, but I'm not going to run your business and look after all of this stuff. And
Hello.
nobody else is either. If you are not
Right.
playing the game and you are not actively involved in your business and learning and doing the damn work, running a business is not a sprint. It is a bloody marathon. I have been
Yes.
doing this for decades.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
people who think, oh yeah, I'm just going to build it and everybody will come. Field of Dreams is a movie, not a way of life.
Love that, Tammy. Say that again for the people in the back, Tammy.
It's not you build it and they will come. You have to freaking do the work.
Yes.
Field of Dreams is a movie by Kevin Costner, and that's where it should stay. It is not the way to plan your damn life.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. And I think like that's the misconception, right? Some people think, oh, I have this amazing idea. I can just put it in the atmosphere and I won't ever have to worry about money again. And it takes so much more than that. Like, even the greatest ideas could become huge failures if it's not structured or set up properly. You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
here's a simple way of looking at it. See, everybody, okay, if I ask you, can you make a better hamburger than McDonald's?
and I'm going to say yes because I think their hamburgers are garbage. But go ahead.
Yeah, everybody goes, yes, of course I can be. Okay, so why are you not more successful than
Right,
McDonald's?
right,
Because you
right,
can have the best product, but can you find a better system
right,
and all
right,
the different things that they've gone through and done and the stuff you can learn
right,
from them.
right.
And it's like I said, the consistency and the systems and the marketing, like they're always marketing. Who doesn't know McDonald's exists?
That part. Right, right. And that's their
And they've
secret
been around
sauce.
for forever and ever and ever, and they're still doing this stuff, and they're always evolving. One of the biggest reasons why people fail within the first 2 years is because they're technicians. They technically know their
Mm,
product or their service really well, and they go, I, that's it. But they're missing all the other different pieces that they need. They don't understand the business skills, and they're going, well, I thought I was going to be doing this, and they don't understand. They have to look after their financials, they have to
yeah.
look after their marketing, they have to put together their systems, they have to look after understanding the difference between profit and cash flow. That's another one that I always have so much fun going smack.
I love it. I love it all. Okay, tell me before we get, because me and you were just having a good old chat. But we do have some questions in the comments. So I want to make sure that we address them during the live. So Wayne Andrews asked, Tammy, I'm not sure if you covered this, but who is your ideal client?
My ideal client, solopreneurs, idea stage, up to 2 years in in business, so as new as possible, that are willing to do the work.
Okay.
Those are my ideal clients. I don't, it doesn't matter about gender, doesn't matter about age, doesn't matter about race, doesn't matter about religion. I am a loudmouth feminist atheist, but I have Mormons for clients. I have Muslims for clients. I have Baptists for clients. I work with everybody. You
Right.
just have to know that I am the same Tammy, no matter who you are.
Right, right. As long as you're willing to do the work and show up. Absolutely. So we have another question. Casey asked, why do you think beginner clients do not want to work?
Well, it's not necessarily that they don't want to. Because most people that start a business are not lazy. It's that they don't understand all the work that goes into it. So when I'm saying that more,
Mm,
like they think they're going to be spending their time creating their product or they're going to be doing their service. And they
mm,
don't understand that no, you need to be marketing, you need to be looking after your financials, you need to be putting together your systems, you need to learn how to interact with people, you need to be planning out your time. Like one of the big things, like when you're moving from having a job and just over broke to owning your own business, the job tells you what to do and when to do it, who
mm,
you're doing it for, and stuff like that. And if you do not have the self discipline or the systems in place to get yourself to do stuff, you're not going to do it.
That's
It's
a
not
good,
necessarily that they don't want to do the work, it's they
right.
don't understand the work that's involved. And I know, so I have a very good friend and a client of mine, and years and years ago, he wanted to move to a smaller center out of the city that we were in, and I was working with a town that was quite close to where he wanted to be, and he's a plumber,
Hmm.
and they had no plumbers, like no plumbers in the area at all. Like they had to call one of the major cities, so the closest plumber was like 2 hours away. And I'm going, you're a journeyman plumber, like you could sell your house here in
Right.
this city, move to this place that is starting to grow, but you could buy a very nice house for the equity that you've got in this one.
Hmm.
And I'm going, I'll help you get everything set up, and you wouldn't even have to, basically you would be able to just put your damn sign out, say I'm a journeyman plumber,
Right.
and have it all go. And he looked at me and he very honestly said, I'm not willing to work that hard. And he is
Wow.
not a lazy person. Like
Wow.
he was working on call, so
Right.
he'd have to take call every third or fourth weekend, and like when he's on call, like he's gone the whole weekend. And like he worked really really hard, but he wasn't willing to change from working hard as an employee to doing the mental change to working hard as a business owner. And I think it's actually a very good thing. Like I've been teaching a small business class for close to 20 years, and I've had a couple of people at the end of the weekend class go, you know what, now that I've learned all of this stuff, you know what, it's not for me.
Mm.
I'm not ready, or this is not what I want to be doing. And I'm going, oh, thank God.
Right.
I would rather have you find that out now
Right.
before you put your life savings and your
Hmm.
self worth and all this into something that you don't want to do.
Right, exactly. Especially since we're talking about legacy, right? Leaving a
Yeah.
legacy. You definitely don't want that to be a negative one that you're leaving behind for your family because you just didn't know when to cut your losses.
Yeah.
Or yeah, or that wasn't going to be a good fit for you. We have one question, Tammy,
Hmm?
before we go any further, and then I have a question I want to ask. So Wayne says, question for both of you ladies. Is it okay to fire clients if you find out they are not good fits? Yes.
I will, like, yes, 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 yes. And better yet, don't take them on in the first place,
Right.
because it is a two-way relationship. And like I said, I've been in business long enough, and the only time I've ever gotten myself in trouble is when I use my brain to
Mm.
override the screaming in my belly button going, this
Mm-hmm.
is going to be a problem, because
Mm-hmm.
it's always a problem, and it takes a
Mm-hmm.
great big huge chunk out of my ass, and I
Ooh,
never lose any weight out of the process.
that's right. That's right. I mean, I actually feel like it will work against you so much so that you will find yourself losing money having to chase behind this client because your time is money, let's face it. And so you're going to be spending so much time on that client who you know is not a good fit for you rather than
And
spending
there's
your
all sorts of things that make them not a good
right,
fit. And it doesn't
right.
mean there's anything wrong, but if you guys are not going to connect, if they're not respecting your time,
Hello.
if and there's a lot of people, especially when they start out, they'll take on, like, they're going, I need anybody that's a client. No, you do not.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And you're doing the client a disservice in that
Right,
case as well, because if it's not a good fit for whatever reason, they're asking for services that you are not good at, or you
right,
guys are not connecting or understanding and all of
right.
this stuff, they are better off finding somebody who is a fit for them. And when you're working
Absolutely.
with clients that you should be firing, you are stealing from your good clients, because,
Ooh,
like,
10.
flat out, you are stealing from your good clients when you are working with clients that are not a good fit.
Okay, I'm going to steal that quote. I hope y'all heard it. Tammy said it here. Okay,
Yeah.
you are absolutely stealing from your clients when you choose to work with somebody who's not a good fit, and I absolutely 100% agree with that. So it's good to have that. That's why you have a screening process, entrepreneurs. Make sure that you are screening to see if that client is a good fit for you. Not only should that client be interviewing you, but you're interviewing that client. You want to see if it's going to be a good fit. So thank you so much for sharing that, Tammy, because I agree. Listen.
And I'll throw in another thing. When you understand that it's a two-way process, and it's not just I
Hmm.
work with anybody, no, it has to be a good fit.
That's right.
you have to understand that it is a privilege to work with you. You have
Mm,
to know what you bring to the table. And when you understand that and you can put that out, you won't have a problem attracting the right people because they are
mm.
attracted to that energy. And it's not arrogant. What's the difference between confidence and arrogance?
I don't know. You tell me.
Confidence is having the goods to back it up.
Oh, okay. So I got a lot of confidence then.
So if you've got the goods to back it up, it's not arrogance. But
Right,
people are attracted to that.
right, right.
Whereas you're going, I'll take anybody and stuff, that kind of pushes people away because they're going, yeah, that doesn't seem right. This person's desperate. Like, do they
Right,
understand what I need and what they bring to the table and stuff? Because as soon as you get that, you won't have the problem attracting to people because you will put that out.
right, right. I love it. Yep, I love it. So we have one question, and then we're going to get to my question, hopefully. So Casey says, Tammy, do you bring those points, what is required to become a boss, to your initial meeting with those potential clients?
Pretty much. We go over. So what I do is I have a program where I do a weekend small business class. It's intensive. It goes over all the stuff. It's to launch you, and then I follow it up with a year-long group coaching program where we continue to build on the knowledge that you learn, and here more importantly, get you to actually do the stuff.
Right.
Because there's so many times, and I've done this myself. You'll go to this great course or this great conference and you get so excited and you're going, I am going to change my life, we're going to change my business and all this stuff. And then as soon as you leave the course and you get back into real life, well, the phone's ringing, the kids need stuff, the dog needs out, the cat just threw up on the carpet. I have to look after all of this stuff. And then what ends up changing? Nothing. So
Right.
you and then a few months later or a few years later, you're going back to your bookshelf and you're seeing this beautiful binder going, oh, that was a great course. I was going to change so many things,
Right.
and nothing changed.
Right.
So we go over, like I said, this is what you're going to do. These are the things that you're going to learn, and don't waste my freaking time or your money if you're not willing to do the work. If you and a lot of the time, it's not even just if you're not willing. If you are not in a space where you
Mm.
can do the work, and we're not talking hours and hours and hours a day, we make it so that it's like, you know what, 15 to 30 minutes is all you basically need. But if you can't commit to doing that, it is not going to work.
Yep.
It's not going to work.
I love it. And that actually segues into a question that I have for you, because in order for your business to be successful, right, there has to be some level of sustainability. Rather, it's going to be something that you want passed on to your kids or your kids' kids. There has to be sustainability that's created in the business in order for it to be truly successful. So I would
Or
like,
even if you're just looking at selling it, you have to
correct.
be building something that is worth buying if you're looking at selling it.
That is right. That is right. And I actually have a client who did just that. Like, she created a business just so she could sell it. But yeah, so tell us then, when we talk about sustainability, if you don't mind, give us two do's and two don'ts. And let's start with the don'ts first.
don't think it's going to happen overnight. All overnight successes take a minimum of 10 freaking years. So
Right.
this is not a sprint. It is a marathon. So
Love
don't
it.
think that there's any magic component.
Right.
It's the boring stuff.
Tammy, we lost audio. Hold on one
Oh,
moment. Okay, go
so
ahead. Yep, we got you back. Okay.
you got me back. Not
Yep.
sure what happened there. I said, don't is expect this to be a sprint. It is a marathon. You have to put in the work. There is no magic pill. There is no magic wand. It's the stuff you do day in, day out that gets the job done.
I love it. No red or blue pills here, y'all. This is not the Matrix. So
Uh, the second,
uh-huh.
don't take business advice or criticism from people who have no idea what they're talking about.
Oh my
Most
gosh.
people, especially when they're starting out, get their business advice from the broke grass friends and family who have never accomplished anything outside of a job.
Right. Right. I love that point. I need you to repeat that because they need to hear it.
Well, one of the things that I teach about is everybody needs an advisory team. No matter how
Right,
brilliant or wonderful that you are, you need to have good people around you. And
right,
when you are starting a business, you need to be talking with professionals that help businesses. Like, one of the things, you always need to have a great accountant and bookkeeper. You need to have other great professionals, and you
right.
need to start making friends with other business owners, so that,
Absolutely.
because one of the things that I learned when I was forced to start my business over 20 years ago is, in the first 2 years, my social circle totally and completely changed.
Mm,
We went from other people that I still love and they're wonderful, and a lot of them are my clients, but they're employees, and the conversations I could have with them were completely different than the conversations I have with all of my friends now,
yep.
that are all small business owners and different ones, because we have conversations that can understand one another. When I tried having the conversations with my employee friends, they looked at me like I was speaking Klingon.
Right. Right, right. No, that's true. And I've witnessed the same thing. Like there's relationships that I have created that have been fostered from me being on this entrepreneurial journey. And then there are relationships that unfortunately have ended. And I shouldn't say unfortunately, like I feel like, there's a time and season for people coming in and out of your life. And I just think that you need to understand that you can't take everybody with you, entrepreneurs. Like you
Yeah, you
can't.
have to let people go, and like I said, my group of friends, they're still clients and friends, but
Right,
we don't see each other very much anymore. And when we talk, it's about, okay, our kids and what's going on and
right.
stuff with them. Because if I try to talk about my business, like, it's serious, they look at me like I'm speaking Klingon. They don't get it.
Right, right,
And that is perfectly fine. And then I have, like I said, I've got all my circle of my business owner friends,
right,
and the conversations that we get into, it's like, it's magical. And you need
right,
to have, I say one of the most important is your business 911. That it's, who can you pick up the phone and call on the days where you're going, oh man, what the hell am I doing? Like, why don't I just quit this, and I don't have to worry about
right,
this anymore, and I can just go get one of those stage jobs. And yes, I'd have to listen to some idiot that's telling me what to do, but I'd be able to leave it all there, and I wouldn't have to. You need to have somebody that you can
right,
call up and go, I'm having one of those days. Do you have a minute or two to talk? So you call,
right,
and then you could safely vent to them, and
right,
then you go, okay, they help you either figure out your problem or just listen to you,
right.
and then they remind you why you're doing it, give you a swat on the ass, and go get back out on there
That's
on the
right.
field. Because we can't always, a lot of the time, we can't talk to our family, or anybody like that. We have to
Right,
keep it inside, but we can't just keep it inside. We have to have someplace safe where we can put it
right.
out. So, like you said, you need to be surrounding yourself, and don't take advice from people who have no idea what game you're playing.
That part, okay, absolutely. All right, now that we know the don'ts, we have one question, and I'm going to segue into the do's. So Wayne asked Tammy and Samara's for both of us, but I'll let you go first, Tammy. Should a business change their normal structure or how they do business with certain clients, or should the business stay the same across the board?
Oh, that's a really hard question, because there's so many depends that
Mm-hmm.
are in there. And there's sometimes, depending on the business and the client and stuff, that yes, it's perfectly fine to customize and do different things. And then there's some that, okay, if it's just not going to fit into the scope of what I can do or I'm set up to do right now, it's best to let it go. So it's not a yes or a no answered. Like, if we were to actually talk one on one and get into it, I could probably give you a little bit more.
Right.
But there's only two things that are absolute givens when you're talking about life and business, and they're death and taxes. I can't tell you when you're going to die, but it is going to happen. But if I could tell you when, that would put me in a different line of work. And taxes, we can help you legally pay less,
That's right. That's
but
right.
other than that, everything's like a big, well, it depends. Those are not just adult diapers, dear.
That's right. Death and taxes. I love those two certainties, right? It's gotta
Yeah.
happen. But yeah, absolutely. Having someone that you can talk through certain things, I think is very helpful. So I'm glad that you have that circle. So now let's talk about the do's. Like, what are two do's that you would tell a client when trying to create a sustainable business?
So the two first things. So number one, it is the long game.
I love it.
So one of the first question I had, what's your exit strategy? Because um, you are going to be exiting.
Right.
One way or the other, you're going to be exiting. Are you looking at passing it off to your kids? Are you looking at selling the business? Are you looking at, okay, I'm just going to take this up to retirement? Are you looking at, I want to take this everywhere and I'm going to turn it into a franchise? Or I want to be the next Jeff Bezos and have like a great big huge company? Because knowing how you want to go helps you figure out the path that you want to be doing to be getting there. Like if you want to just stay, you know what, I like just working by myself and having my clients and
Mhm.
having all of this stuff, great. We build it one way. If you are wanting to be like the next McDonald's or the Amazon, okay, we're going to have to look at doing things differently.
Right.
So what is your long game? What is your exit strategy? That's one of the first questions, and that helps you figure out everything. And then the other thing is, what are you doing for planning? For how you are investing your time
Mm.
day in, day out, week to week, because so many people, they live their business like the ball in the pinball machine. They're just bouncing around, hitting whatever, and they're going, "Oh my god, how come I'm not accomplishing anything?"
Right.
You just have no goals. You're just reacting to whatever you bump into.
Right.
So
I love that.
you need to, like, I one of the main things I teach people is planning out your week.
Right.
What are the things that you need to be working on? Like asking the questions, slowing down, and being deliberate about what you are doing,
Yep.
because every single successful and unsuccessful business comes down to the habits of what you are doing day in and day out.
Yep, absolutely. And that's like I used to do that, Tammy, to be honest with you, like planning out my week, planning out my day. Like I
Mm-hmm.
used to do that even when I was working my 9 to 5. I would literally come in, I would open up my calendar, see whatever meetings were on there, and then I don't know what it is, but it's something about me writing it down that it
Mm-hmm.
makes it like just more obtainable for me, right? If I write it down and then I have this list and I just throughout the day, I just go and I do my tick list. And I did my tick list every single morning. And to be
Yep.
honest with you, I got away with that when I started my business. And then I started to see myself struggle in areas. And
Mm-hmm.
so something was like, oh, where's your tick list? That's the
Yep.
problem. So I had to
Yep.
start planning my day out because when you plan your day, you approach things with more intentionality, right? Like you're like, I gotta get this done. This will be done. Now, there are some times where things happen. I'm sure you have to put out fires, things
Mm-hmm.
come up, and maybe you have to move something to the next day. But the goal is to at least address it, get the things done, have intentionality. So I love that approach. That would absolutely lend to a successful business for sure. So then I want to talk. We have a little bit of time, so we're definitely gonna have to have you back because I wanted to get into like how we're building this legacy for our family, our clients, and our community. But we are short on time, so we definitely going to have a part two, Tammy. And I'm going to give you the floor so you could just talk. Everybody was so engaging. Like this is amazing. And we have like questions. We have another question. So Samurai says, so, Samara, this may be a little premature, but are we going to be able to get Tammy back on the show because she's the realest? See? See? So we got to have you back, Tammy.
I,
So
I I would love to be back. Like I said, this is fun for me. And if you're willing to have the pasty white Canadian chick back, she'll come.
listen, we accept all people here at Five Finance. I absolutely love it. No, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and it's definitely showing in how engaging the audience has been and asking questions. Absolute pleasure. So before we go, before we wrap things up, I definitely want to give you the opportunity to tell people how they can connect with you because you are a wealth of knowledge for sure.
So you can always find me through my website, which is ksabusiness.ca, and that's as in Canada, not California. I've had that confusion before. And if you're not sure, KSA stands for Kick Some Ass, because well,
Yes.
that's me. Like I said, I'm always me. And you can always find me on Instagram as well at ksa.business.
Okay. Love it. Love the acronym. That sets the mood, everybody. Okay, that's the tone. All right.
Yeah.
So know that when you talk to Tammy, it's the real deal. Let's go.
I am
I
not for the faint of heart, dear.
I love it. I love it. But I feel like that's what we need, right? Especially if we want to achieve the success that we're trying to achieve. We need somebody who's going to give us a swift kick in the pants and say, no, this is what you have to do. Let's go. So absolutely love it. And then so tell the people, is there anything that you would like to share with the audience for them joining the chat with us today?
So one of the things that I give away is I call the Solopreneur Self-Assessment. So it's a quick little quiz that you can do to go through and figure out where you have strengths, because everybody goes into business with some strengths, where you have weaknesses, and the most importantly, the stuff you didn't even have a freaking clue about, because that's the stuff that sinks you. And so you can go to ksabusiness.ca/gift, and you can download that for free. And if you want to book a free 15-minute one-on-one with me to see if I'm the person that can be helping you with your business, I would love to help you with that.
Awesome. And I just put it in the chat too, for everybody that's in the chat. So you can definitely click on the link and it will take you to the gift section of Tammy's website. Again, Tammy, thank you so very much for your time. This was an amazing conversation. I had to look, I was like, oh my gosh, we're like almost time. So it was such a good conversation. Look, everybody's already saying like we need to have Tammy back. So love the
Excellent.
energy, love the vibe. It has been an awesome conversation to say the least. So I'm gonna wrap everything up, Tammy. But again, thank you so much for donating your time tonight. I'm just gonna ask you to wait backstage, and I will
Yeah.
see you shortly.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. All right, Five Finance family. So, what an amazing conversation with a beautiful person. I absolutely love Tammy's energy. That's why I had to have her on the show because she is a no nonsense person. I know y'all see on this show every week, you see this bubbly Samara side, right? But deep down, there's a Tammy in me. And so I'm a no nonsense as well. And so that's why me and her connect like instantly. I just love the energy. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you for your engagement. Y'all were awesome in the comments tonight. Thank you so much. For asking those questions and being engaged throughout the live. Next week, we are going to have another guest on. So, we're going to have Attorney Brown joining us next week, and she is going to be answering the question: is my legacy protected? So, for the month, we've been talking about legacy and around legacy planning. And so, we're going to have Attorney Brown on showing us how to properly protect that legacy. So, come next week prepared with your questions and your comments. I want to see that same level of engagement that we had tonight, right? So, if you are tuning in for the first time, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can definitely visit us on YouTube under Five Finance. Make sure that you are hitting the like if you like this video for tonight, and then hit that subscribe button so that you get notifications whenever we go live, right? Also, you can listen to our podcast. So we are streaming on Audible. We are also on Amazon Music, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So while you are at work or you're driving to work, you can definitely be listening to this content again and taking notes, right? So make sure that you are subscribing to our podcast. And if you would like to connect with me on a personal level, you can definitely visit the website www.fivefinance.com. You can book a free consultation. That's right, I still do free consultations. So if you are wanting to connect with me as a tax client or as an accounting client, feel free to visit the website and do that. But again, Fun Finance family, thank you so much for your time this evening. Yes, Angelica, I agree. This was a great show. We are so going to have Tammy come back on because you all were very engaged tonight and has so many good questions for Tammy, and I really appreciate it. But until next time, Five Finance family, you all have a blessed and wonderful Tuesday evening, and we will see you soon.